Factors and multiples from prime factorisation. Now this is pretty fundamental to how numbers work when they're multiplied and you're finding factors and multiples. But to actually understand it on this level it's a reasonably high level topic, a grade B level 8 topic. Now if we look at the highest common factor of 12 and 18, well we should know that that's just 6. We should know that 6 goes into both of those and it's the biggest number that goes into it. And the lowest common multiple of 12 and 18 is going to be 36. But where does that come from? Well, it comes from these prime factorizations. This is a unique way of writing 12 as a product of prime numbers, and the same for 18. So if we look at the highest common factor, we're looking at what is the highest power of 2 that goes into both. Well, we have 1, 2 in this one, so that's the highest 2 that can go into both. Any more powers of 2 would not go into 18. And what's the highest? The other prime number we got is 3. What's the highest power of 3 that goes into both? Well, there's only 1 3 in this one, so that must be the highest power that goes into both 12 and 18. And I think you can see that that gives us the 6, because 2 times 3, which is the highest number that goes into both, because there's a 2 in both and 1 3 in both. So that's where our 6 comes from. The 36, well, we're looking for a number that both of these go into. If I just write 36 out as a product of primes, that's 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Okay, so if we look at the 18, our 2 times 3 times 3 is that part of the number, 36. And then if we look at the 12, which is 2 times 2 times 3, so that's the 2 times 2 times 3. So there's our 18 and there's our 12. Now the smallest number that both 18 and 12 goes into is a number that has at least 2 2's in it, because that's the most number of 2's. We've got 1 2 here, 2 2's here, and then we've got 2 3's. This will clearly go into something that's got 2 3's in it, like this one. But this one needs 2 3's for it to go into it. So the lowest common multiple is going to be the combination of those two things. Now let's see how that works in some bigger numbers. So if we've got 7644 and we want to look at the highest common factor of that and 4158, if we have the product of primes, the highest common factor will be the multiples of all the primes that go into both. So 2 goes into both. There's another 2 here, but there's no more 2's in here, so I can't have any more 2's in our highest common factor because it won't go into this number. I can certainly have a 3 because there's a 3 in both, but I can't have any more 3's because there's 2 more 3's to go in this one, but there's no more 3's in this one. I can have a 7 in both, but no more 7's, and I can't have an 11 in both because there isn't 11 in both, or 13. So the highest common factor is just that number, which happens to be 42, because 6 times 7 is 42. The least common multiple will be the one that the number that both of these go into. So the way I do that is to start with the bigger of the two, because that could be the smallest number they both go into. Certainly can't be the smaller of the two, because then that won't go into it. But if we try to figure out how many 2's are going to work, so this number's got 2 squared in it, 2 times 2, but this one number's going to get 1 2 in it. So this number certainly, the 2 part of this number certainly goes into this. Then we look at the 3's. We've got the 1 3 from that one, but there's 3 3's in this one. So I need to add some more 3's, because I'm not going to get 3 3's to go into this, so I need to times by another 2 3's. There's clearly a 7 in both, so that those 2 7's go into there, and this 7 goes into there. But then I need to add the 11 and 13. Well, not add, I need to multiply by the 11. The 13's already there. So I've got this big long number, 2 times 2 times 3 times 7 times 7 times 13 times 3 times 3 times 11, which is actually just the 7,644 times by 99, which is times by 3 times by 11. And that number gives us 756, I believe. So that would be the lowest common multiple they both go into. Let's have a look at some more examples. So we've got one that's written out just as product of primes. I'm not interested in the actual numbers. I don't really want the answers as numbers. I just want them as product of primes. So the highest common factor, the highest power that goes of each prime number that goes into both. Well, this one's got a 2, but there is no 2, so that can't be in both. There's a 3 in here and a 3 in here, so that must be in both. There's no more 3s. There's 1 5 in both. Let's just rub out that little 2 there, don't need that. And then there's a 7 in both. There's another 7, but there's no more 7s. This 11's here, but there's no 11's there, so it's just that number there. The lowest common multiple, I'm going to start with the bigger of the two numbers, so 2, I think this is the bigger number, 2 numbers, 3 times 3 times 5 times 5 times 7 times 11. Okay, so I've got 2 3's here, but only 1 3 here, so I'm going to have to multiply by another 3. I've got 2 5's and 1 5, that's okay. 1 7 and 2 7's, I need to multiply by another 7. And I've got 11 here, but that's already in my least common multiple, so that is my least common multiple, whatever that is. I could tidy up a little bit just to get the numbers in order. It's not actually that important. And I'm not really interested in what the number is itself. You can work that on a calculator if you want to. If the numbers are given in power forms, it actually makes our life a little bit easier, because all we do for the highest common factor is take the smallest power of each prime number. Just got to remember here that there is no power of 13 and there's no power of 11 in here, so those are going to be the smallest ones of 11 and 13, so we're not actually going to use 11 and 13. So our lowest power of 2 is going to be 2 to the power 1, which is just 2. Our lowest power of 3 is 3 to the power 1, which is just 3. Our lowest power of 7 is 7 squared, and the lowest power of 11 is 11 to the 0, because there's no 11 and there's no 13, so it's just 2 times 3 times 7 squared. Our least common multiple, so take the highest power this time, because the least common multiple, they both have to go into it, so we're just going to take the highest power of each number. So we've got 2 cubed, it's the highest power of 2, then the highest power of 3 is 3 squared, highest power of 7 is 7 cubed, then we've got the highest power of 11, which is 11 to the 1, and the highest power of 13, 13 to the 1. And that's pretty much how you do it.